Hello and welcome to this video tutorial in which we'll showcase ACDSee's patented LCE lighting tool. You can use LCE to improve the appearance of your photos in a variety of ways. LCE can increase exposure of dark underexposed photos, increase contrast and vibrancy of dull photos, correct uneven lighting, correct backlit photos, reduce the effect of atmospheric haze, automatically brighten dark areas and darken bright areas, and LCE can also help you produce HDR-like results from a single image from any digital camera. There are three parts to the LCE tool: Basic, Light EQ, and Advanced. In the Basic mode, you are given three sliders to work with: Shadows, Midtones, and Highlights. The Shadows slider will lighten or darken shadows, in other words, the darkest parts of the image represented on the left of the histogram. The Midtone slider will adjust the midtones, and the highlights will alter the brightest parts on the image represented on the right of the histogram. When you adjust the sliders, you only lighten or darken certain parts in the selected tonal range. In other words, if we lighten the shadows, we take the darker parts of the image shown in this part of the histogram and brighten them by moving them towards the midtones, but it will only affect the shadowed area, leaving the midtones and highlights unaffected. Conversely, we see here how we can darken the highlights, resulting in us darkening the clouds in this image. By doing this, it is even possible to invert the image's brightness and remap the tonal values, turning highlights to shadows, and vice versa. Light EQ allows you to alter the lighting at a much more granular level. Shadows are represented on the left-hand side of the light equalizer, and highlights are on the right. By default, you have 5 different tone bands to work with. You can alter the brightness and contrast of each band using the sliders. The graph will show the relative adjustments that have been made throughout the tonal range. The gray areas are suggested boundaries of adjustment in which the image will begin clipping and start to suffer a loss of detail. By using the brightening and darkening sliders, you can alter the brightness and contrast across the entire tonal range. LCE will attempt to minimize clipping in the image wherever possible. It is possible to alter the number of tone bands from 2 to 9, with 9 offering you the ability to alter lighting in narrower tonal ranges. If you want a specific value, you can also enter the number into one of the text boxes under the sliders. Instead of using the sliders, with LCE you can instead drag your mouse cursor up and down on the graph to adjust lighting levels. Another alternative is to left-click on an area of your image and use the mouse to increase the amount of brightening amplitude by moving it up and down. In this image, we lighten the shadows by clicking on the trees and moving the mouse up, and darken the midtones by clicking on the gray clouds and moving the mouse down. You can see the changes being reflected in the Light EQ graph. In Advanced mode, you can use the brightening and darkening sliders to adjust the lighting levels in the image across the entire tonal range. By increasing or decreasing the amplitude, you can alter the level of intensity in which lighting changes are applied to enable more finite changes to your image. As with Light EQ, you can also use the cursor on the graph or the image to tweak specific tonal bands. You can also use the Auto button to allow LCE to make the lighting adjustments for you. And finally, you can choose to double-click on an area of the image using the left mouse button for lightening and the right button for darkening. And LCE will set the brightening and darkening compressions to the optimum for that area of the image. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or would like to know more, please visit acdsee.com for more information.